In this video, we'll see how the brain of the man is connected to the top three sephirot on the tree of life. So the top three spheres of kether, chokmah, and binah are essentially the head of man, or you could say the brain of Adam, the first man. So let's get into our source here. Our verse contains some profound and hidden meaning, which the Kabbalists, who have tried to decipher hidden meanings of God's message to man in the Torah, have understood as the basis for the system of the 10 emanations, which include man seeing he has been created in a manner which corresponds to the structure of these emanations. When God said, "In our image," so let us make man in our image, the meaning is the image, which is similar to that of the celestial regions and its inhabitants. The words "similar to our appearance," on the other hand, refers to the emanation called tiferet or harmony, which applies to the fact that man has a body. Let me now explain the entire verse. Everyone who wants to have an understanding of the uniqueness and the unification of the various components man is made of should concentrate on the following. Man's head, which is what lends whatever dignity and distinction his body deserves, is equivalent to the highest emanation called kether, or crown, a description borrowed from the words in Psalms 119. So it says here, man's head, or man's brain, which is what lends whatever dignity and distinction, is equivalent to the highest emanation, kether. So the brain is kether. It continues. Man's brain and his ability to verbalize it corresponds to the emanation chokmah. Again, man's brain and his ability to speak corresponds to this emanation, or chokmah, wisdom, which is something internal. The word chokmah itself also alludes to brain, again here, and they go on to say this is an allusion to the power of speech, which corresponds to the emanation binah, or insight. This is the emanation that translates potential into actual forces. In other words, language translates thoughts into an intelligible and usable format. Just as the emanations, or just as in the world of emanations, binah translates the wisdom into some applicable form. So in man, language converts his knowledge into something communicable. So something that he can use to express himself. We have already mentioned on several occasions that in Kabbalistic terms, the three words, here we have teshuvah, which is return or repentance, and in chokmah and kether are all essentially the same thing. Similarly, when it came to the formation of man, brain, power, speech, the palate, language are all part of the same organ called head. So anytime it's speaking of the head in the sources, we're speaking of like brain, power, and speech. So as we see here, the top three are all connected to man's head, which is his brain.